Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life. We won't live in the past. We're making it last.
It's time for another conversation. Welcome to Making It Last podcast, where it's all about helping us to have better relationships, not just with ourselves, but other people. I'm Noreen Daly, and we're going to be unpacking the whole idea of discovering the voice within a journey to self expression. We're going to be doing that with Marnie, Dachis, Marmet. She's a serial entrepreneur, she's a podcaster, she's an author, and she's a health coach. Welcome, Marnie.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here today.
So I believe, well, before we started recording, you told me that your book is actually, you know, about this. So tell us a little bit about the book and we'll go right into the topic.
So my book is called My Song Unleashed, and it's a memoir. And I wrote this book, I had a desire to write a book at a really young age, but I never knew what I would write about. I always envisioned that it would be some sort of fiction book.
Hmm.
And instead, I ended up writing a memoir many, many years later. And if you're not familiar with the difference between a memoir and a biography is really the story of someone's life from start to finish. Oftentimes, you'll see like the biography of a president or a famous person. And memoir is really snippets in time of someone's life. And it could be a month. The whole book could be written over the course of a month of someone's life, or it could be a period of a number of years. And oftentimes memoirs jump around in time a lot. So maybe there's a chapter where they're an adult, and then there's a chapter where they're flashing back to their teen years or whatever. So anyway, there's a little more like creativity in memoir writing just because it's not, from start to finish.
Okay, okay. So discovering the voice within, what triggered that?
So from a young age, I always felt like my voice was inside me, like just wanting to bust out, but I felt quieted. And I talk a lot about this in my book, but I felt quieted by my family. I was told to quiet down. I actually, the book opens up where I'm trying out for a music class and I don't get in. And then the music teacher goes on to say that my mom needs to take me to the doctor because my voice is so terrible. So I and then the doctor says, that there's nothing wrong with me. I just have a terrible voice. And this idea of a terrible voice kind of stuck with me for many, many years. But I always felt like it was inside of me and I just needed it to come out. And so I was always a big journaler for many, many years. I would handwrite journals, and I just decided after a while that I was going to take writing classes. And I ended up in a memoir writing class, not intending to write a memoir, but just to get in the habit of writing regularly. And in that process, I literally wrote a draft for my book. I took the same course 4 times with the same instructor, and it just all came pouring out of me.
Wow, wow, wow. You've added another part, but journey to self-expression. Why was
Mhm.
that important for you, and why do you think that's important for people?
Because I think that everybody has a story to share. Every single person, our stories matter. And I think that when you dig in deep to your story, not only is it healing and freeing, but also whatever you're going through, somebody else is going through as well. I am certain of that. And it may seem like you are alone in this world and nobody can understand what you're going through. But even if your backgrounds are different, your lives are completely different, many of the themes that we experience in our lives are similar. You know, I
Mm,
I grew up feeling like I had to live a certain life. I was expected to do certain things, and I kind of was going through the motions for many years doing what was expected of me. And I finally hit a certain age and was like, why am I living this life that isn't the life I want to live? And how can I take steps to find my voice and do what I want to do?
Hmm. You said just now the whole idea that it's freeing and it's healing. It helps you to heal. Don't you think sometimes that there's some people who are just so accustomed to being burdened and then everything is weighing on them, almost like this victim mentality, that the whole idea of letting all of that go is probably even more frightening to them because they've gotten so accustomed to being so burdened with all of this.
Absolutely. And I think stepping into your fears is one of the scariest things people can do for themselves, right? But what I have, and was so scary for me, and it's still scary for me. And what I have found that the more I step into that fear and just take a step forward and embrace the fear, the next thing that comes my way is a little bit easier.
Mm,
And it just gets easier. And sometimes we have to move through it before we can reflect, right?
mm-hmm.
I'm not saying any of this is easy, but it still feels better, in my opinion, inside to go through it, because otherwise, what's the alternative? You're not moving through whatever's going on inside of you, and then it like manifests in all these different ways in the
Mm-hmm.
body, right? Like, with inflammation and sickness and depression. And I mean, so many things like I don't know if you are familiar with the book, The Body Keeps the Score,
No, but
but
it
it's
sounds
a
interesting.
fantastic book. The
Mm-hmm.
body does keep score. Like the physical body knows what's going on, right? And if you are tangled up inside, it's gonna come out in a lot of different ways. So I think that writing, so one exercise I like to tell people to do,
Mm-hmm.
one, tangible thing that anybody can do, it's free, is to go buy a cute journal or a note. Okay, you don't have to buy it. You can just I just said it was free, but take a piece of paper or
Mm-hmm.
some paper from your home or whatever, and do what I like to call a brain dump. So all you're doing, set a timer for 2 minutes and write down everything that's going on in your head. It doesn't have to be grammatically correct. It doesn't have to be complete sentences. Like, it's just a brain dump. And we all have so much going on in our minds that when you do this, and you can do it every single day,
Mm-hmm.
you're starting to like let go of some things that are going on inside. And oftentimes you will find some nuggets in that writing. You can throw it away, you can save it, you can do whatever you want. But if you start to do this regularly, and once it becomes a habit, you could say, okay, I'm going to do this for 5 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day. Um, you will get nuggets. And it's really interesting what comes out in writing unexpectedly. Hi, this is Marnie Dachis Marmet, and I am here on the Making It Last podcast with Noreen Daly. And I am an author of My Song Unleashed, a podcaster of the Art of Living Well podcast, a serial entrepreneur, and a health coach. And we today are talking about finding our authentic voice and tuning into that voice.
Does your business lack branding? Having difficulty realizing your vision? Look no further. Splinth Brand Design Consultancy specializes in developing personal and business brands. Services include strategic management, website creation, social media branding, and more. Visit them online at www.wearesplint.com. Splinth, the brand you need to succeed.
You've created a network that is not to be taken lightly.
You can't live your best life without a healthy immune system. Boost your immune system the delicious way with Zappy's organic juices and punches. Made from local produce with zero added sugar, our juices cleanse and revitalize your body as they boost your natural immunity. Try our delicious flavors. Beat It, Berry Bomb, Get Fresh, Ton Up, and Island Splash. Find us on Instagram at Zappy's Organics or call or send a WhatsApp message at 1-876-779-8910 to order today. That's 1-876-779-8910. Zappy's Organic Juices and Punches. Live your best life today.
Welcome back to the Making It Last podcast with Noreen Daly.
It's interesting, and I'm listening to what I'm saying. For those who are going to say, "But I'm not a writer." I mean, there are always other outlets and other things that they can do. I mean, for the younger ones, they can probably, just send themselves voice notes or something to just record, I guess, how they're feeling. What else do you do, or what else have you done, and why is this important then for all of us? Yes, we all have stories, but so many persons have been silent so much, Marnie, throughout their life's journey, that making this shift is difficult. So give them some other techniques in terms of how then to shift their mindset to do this.
I think that for a person that's been silenced a lot, I think that you need to put yourself in uncomfortable positions, right? So, someone could be listening to this and looking at me and saying, "Oh, well, she's on a podcast and she's a podcaster and she's speaking well." But I used to get rashes all over my neck, and my face would turn purple. And I mean, I had so much anxiety and stress over speaking publicly in any situation, unless I was just talking to like one other person. But give me 5 or more people. And for me, I found yoga and meditation to be incredibly helpful. I found that putting myself in positions where I had to speak over and over again, and then even just writing out like mantras for yourself. I don't know if you're familiar with mantra, but you can make up your own mantras, right? Like, I am a fantastic speaker. I am a fantastic speaker. I am a fantastic speaker. I personally believe when you write the words, when you actually write the words down, your body, like I mentioned it earlier, your body's keeping score. Your body is listening to you. If you're telling yourself you're a fantastic speaker, guess what? You're a fantastic speaker. If you have this internal voice in your head that's saying you can't do this, you're bad at whatever, or you're too this or too that, like, that's holding you back. And you have to find a way to squash that voice, or I like to say, flick it off your shoulder and just be like, get away from me. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. And really reframe that mind to be positive and to tell yourself that you are good at something. Or it could be, my family wants to hear what I have to say, or people want to hear what I have to say. What I have to say is important. And I do think, you can record this on your phone and say it over and over again. I think sometimes when we write things, not even type, but actually handwrite, there's just something that happens when you're actually writing something down. And you can crumple it up and throw it away. Like, it's just the exercise of doing it. You don't have to be any kind of writer. Everybody's a writer. If you know how to write words, you're a writer.
Yeah. How important this whole changing of a mindset, how important is it then to ensure that you're in the, for want of a better word, the right environment to do all of this?
I think that mindset is incredibly important to living an authentic life.
Mm-hmm.
Because if your mindset is working against you, then you're going to be fighting this uphill battle that you're never going to win, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
not about winning, but an uphill battle where it's going to be really hard to tune in to yourself and
Mm-hmm.
live the way you want to live. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
yeah, it does. But I'm saying, what about those around you? Are they part of the process, or this is all individual in terms of when you're trying to change your mindset and just trying, to,
I think it's completely individual.
okay.
I don't think anybody can do this except you. I think, I have someone in my life who's has a very challenging mindset, and I have tried, it's been years now, I would say, to help her change some things about her mindset. And what I've learned is that I can make all kinds of suggestions and I can help, talk through certain things with her. But at the end of the day, if she is not implementing, if she is not making any of the changes herself, or even maybe the desire's not there
Mm-hmm.
because it's too scary or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
another person can't do this for you. You have to want it. That's number one, right? Like if you don't want to have a shift, then
Yeah.
you're not going to have a shift.
Mm, yeah. 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 As we're wrapping up, I'm gonna just say the topic, and whatever comes to mind, just respond. Discovering the voice within, a journey to self-expression, means what to you?
I think it means tuning in to your authentic self. It means stepping into your fears, knowing that you are on a journey, that it's a continual journey. There are always going to be things happening in one's life where you're going to need to move through them. I think finding joy is a huge part of finding your authentic voice, figuring out what brings you joy and contentedness, what helps you feel content inside. And I would say also just like that inner radiance that we all have. And I think a lot of people feel squashed. And I
Mhm.
would love to see their inner radiance just shine out. And how do you let that shine?
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing, Marnie.
Thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun.
This was Make It Last podcast, where it's all about helping us to have better relationships, not just with ourselves, with other people. I'm Noreen Daly. Until next time.
Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life. We want